I think it's very important for investors to not get caught up in that particular discussion. Right. Nickel sulphate premiums were $2,000 a ton, 2 years ago. They're down to zero today. Yeah, there are two primary types of nickel deposits. So sulphide is what you think of in Sudbury and so forth. And so, the issue there is generally, the mining is expensive. You have to build a deep open, now there tend to be deeper underground mines, or you are, bigger open pit operations processing, low grade nickel. Once you make a concentrate, because you upgrade it from, say, anywhere from 0.3% to 3% nickel, up to something that's 10 to 15 or more percent nickel, the processing of it from there is relatively uncomplicated. Smelter, refiner, and it gets done. The tricky part for a laterite project is it's much easier to mine. It's basically, this is rock that's been converted to dirt over time, and in that process the nickel and cobalt get concentrated in the soil, so you literally are just digging dirt and putting it into, so these mines in Indonesia that ship ore to China literally just dig it up, put it on a boat, and away it goes. So that the mining part of it's quite simple and cheap, and the processing, the mineral that's the nickel is in is a complicated mineral. So you have to use a lot of energy, either through electricity to melt it all, and that's how nickel pig iron works. So you take all the soggy dirt, dump it in a furnace and melt it and make nickel pig iron, or you have to use energy in the form of acid to break the bonds to liberate the nickel and cobalt. To make HPAL, that's what the HPAL process is. And so again, those are big, complicated, expensive plants to do that. So one's easy to mine, one's harder to mine, one's much easier to process, one's much harder to process.
And while you're sort of explaining a few technical details, there's a lot of talk in the market about class 1 and class 2 nickel. Again, for the audience, can you explain what the difference is and the importance of it?
Yeah, no, that's the thing. There's been a massive amount of airtime, about this particular discussion, and the issue is should be more about how many total nickel units we have. Again, at the end of the day, you can take a sulphide intermediate and you can make a range of products with it. You can make nickel pig iron, ferronickel via the roasting approach that we had at Dumont. You can take that to a smelter to make finished nickel products, and the same thing through laterite source-based material. Again, most of that does go to make NPI today, but there's no reason. There are producers, PT Inco and Aramet, that have produced for a long time that make a product that does go to a nickel that goes to a refinery that gets converted into finished nickel and cobalt products that can be used for the battery sector. So I think it's very important for investors to not get caught up in that particular discussion. And again, I think the Chinese are going to build lots of capacity to process intermediates. Junior mining companies, having processing plants, at a location to make a product. And again, that specification, as we go to have more nickel in batteries, that the specification for that sulphate gets stricter and stricter and stricter. And so, are you going to build a sulphate plant and then continue to, improve that plant to be able to make that product? You should just focus on making a high quality intermediate, and then you will have a market to sell that into in the future.
Okay, so you're saying class 1, class 2, slight distraction, certainly for investors. Because the market will resolve the economics around that.
Exactly. There will be short-term dislocations, so don't say, oh, today the premium's X, but again, nickel sulphate premiums were $2,000 a ton 2 years ago. They're down to zero today.